Hi guys, and let me be the first one to welcome you to the very first episode of G.O.A.T Movies, a podcast for the simple movie lover. My name is Carlos Dominguez and I will be your host. Week after week, I'll be joined by a fellow movie enthusiast, or connoisseur if you will, to discuss movies we've just seen, or upcoming movies, previews, and really anything movie related to see if that day's podcast movie has what it takes to become one of the greatest of all time. Or GOAT, as those young hip millennials call it these days. So who am I? I told you. My name's Carlos. I'm your host. And I am just a simple movie lover. I can talk about movies all day long. I have an enormous collection. That's what she said. And I just love movies. I can watch them all day. I can quote them all day. I can talk about them all day. And I'm that guy that in the middle of a conversation, it will sound like I have the most random comment, the most random idea, but it's not so random. It's actually a movie quote. And if you are one of those people that gets looked at because you make comments like that, or better yet, if you're one of those people that can automatically see where I'm coming from with that said quote and how it applies to that conversation, then this is the podcast for you. I mean, it's just one of the greatest things ever when I am in a meeting at work, somebody will say something and I can just say, "Have a lovely day." And automatically you know that I am talking about Tim Curry in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I mean, it's just, that's the greatest thing ever. Throughout this podcast, throughout the show, really, if there are any spoilers, we will let you know exactly when and where the spoilers can and will be. That way we don't ruin the movie for you. I'm the type of person that I can talk about movies, I can hear about a movie, and really it's not going to faze me, it's not going to ruin it for me. But I know not everybody's like that. So, again, welcome to the first episode. I'm so glad that you could be here. I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about, what makes a movie GOAT, what makes it the greatest of all time. And we can just take it from there. The biggest thing about movies, I think, that makes it GOAT would be good casting. When they pick an actor or actress to represent somebody, that they are able to just execute it beautifully and really connect with me as a viewer. That's what makes a movie the greatest of all time. If it can withstand the test of time. If you think back on a character and think, man, nobody could have pulled that off the way that they did. A great example of this would be the legendary, the great, the one and only Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. Nobody could have pulled that role off better than him. The passion that he had, the arrogance that he portrayed as the Colonel, it's just nobody could have done that other than Jack Nicholson. The tone that he used, the facial expressions, it's all those little subtleties that you don't realize, that on a subconscious level you notice. Oh man, look at that. Look at the fear in his eyes. Look at the anger, the passion behind it. I mean, if you've seen A Few Good Men, which is definitely one of the greatest of all time movies, that movie is just amazing. I'm not much of a Tom Cruise fan, so I think they could have done a little bit better job casting that role. But he did really well. He did really well in that role. Which kind of leads us to the next, I guess, qualifier to what would make a movie one of the greatest of all time. That would be a memorable scene. Who doesn't remember the scene in the courtroom where Tom Cruise is essentially calling out Jack Nicholson? He will not be tested. He will not be questioned. Let's just go ahead and play that clip really quick so that you have an understanding of where I'm coming from, because this is one of those clips that I can watch over and over and over again and still get chills from it. And if you have not seen A Few Good Men, if you have not seen this movie, turn this podcast off, go rent it, check it out on Netflix, Hulu, or whatever streaming video you have. because this movie is amazing. It's on TNT all the time, so there's no reason you had not seen this movie yet. If you haven't seen it, turn off this podcast. No, I'm just joking. Come on back. Let me just go ahead and play that clip for you, and then we'll take it from there.
If you gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, and your orders are always followed, then why would Santiago be in danger? Why would it be necessary to transfer him off the base?
Santiago was a substandard Marine. He was being transferred.
That's not what you said. You said he was being transferred because he was in grave danger.
That's correct.
You said he was in danger. I said grave danger. You said, is there any
recall what I said.
I can have the court reporter read back to you.
I know what I said. I don't have to have it read back to me like I'm...
Why the 2 orders? Colonel?
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands.
No, sir. You made it clear just a moment ago that your men never take matters in their own hands. Your men follow orders or people die. So Santiago shouldn't have been in any danger at all, should he have, Colonel?
You snotty little bastard.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
If Lieutenant Kendrick gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, then why did he have to be transferred? Lieutenant Kendrick ordered the code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Lieutenant Kendrick to do.
Object!
And when it went bad, you cut these guys loose!
Your Honor!
You had
Counsel, I'll
markers
hold you
inside
in
a phony
contempt.
transfer.
Your Honor!
You doctored the logbook.
Damn it, Captain!
You coerced the doctor.
Consider
I'm
yourself in
asking you.
contempt.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth! Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You? You, Lieutenant Weinberg? I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You weep for Santiago and you curse the Marines. You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know, that Santiago's death, while tragic, probably saved lives, and my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use these words as the backbone of a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then questions the manner in which I provide it. I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a weapon and stand a post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
Did you order the code red?
I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did!
Does it really get any better than that? This is one of the most memorable scenes in cinema history. The quotes that you can get from this movie are numerous. And there's so many more movies like this that we'll be discussing on this podcast. One of the main things that I think makes a movie one of the greatest of all time, something that makes it withstand the test of time, at least it is for me, is the ability for an actor to connect with me as a viewer and to force me or make me understand why they're doing what they're doing. If I'm able to connect to that character because of the way that the actor is portraying them, and I can get inside their head because they're getting inside of mine, then they've done their job. It's amazing. And once you watch this movie, if you haven't already, the look in Jack Nicholson's eyes, the anger that he just got called out, it gives me chills every single time that I watch that movie. And trust me, I've seen it dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times. So that's just a few of the things that I consider a movie to make it GOAT. What I'd like to do is just open it up to you guys, because this podcast ultimately is for you. It's something that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. It's something that I've talked about for a very long time. And this is for you guys, and I'd really love your feedback. I'd really love for you guys to participate and really be included in the production of this. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you'd like to contribute to the show, by all means, please do so. Shoot me an email at goatmoviespc@gmail.com. That's goatmovies, plural, pc@gmail.com. And that PC is for podcast, not politically correct, which is something that we probably won't be on this show, especially considering some of the guests that I have planned to have on the air with me. And if you'd like to be one of those guests, shoot me an email. You'll be there. Before we wrap up, I just want to give a big shout out, a big thanks to a couple of people who have helped me make this possible. First and foremost, I wanted to give a big shout out and a big thanks to Gray Drake. Gray Drake is actually the senior editor-in-chief of RottenTomatoes.com, and she has a segment on a nationally syndicated radio show that I listen to, Kid Craddock in the Morning, shout out. And she has this segment every Friday where she talks about movies to go watch this weekend, and it just really inspired me to see that someone who has a passion for movies like I do was able to make a career out of it. Is this going to be a career for me? Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But I sent an email to Gray Drake. She was nice enough to go ahead and respond to me, and she really lit this fuse. She really lit this fuse that had been waiting to be lit for a very long time. It's something that I've been putting off, and I finally did it. So thank you so much, Gray Drake. I really appreciate you lighting that fuse and really pushing me to go ahead and pursue my dream to take my passion of movies to the next level. So thank you so much. I think the key thing about this is that it's always important to follow your dream and your passion. One big example of this, shout out to my girl, Tashandra Isom, who decided to take her passion of party planning and being motivational to actually quit her job and start her own event planning business. And she's actually doing really well. I suggest that you guys go follow her on Instagram. She is at Isom Events, i.s.o.m.events on Instagram. So check her out. Tashandra, thanks for being that inspirational person that showed me that it is possible to pursue your dreams. So a big thanks to Adam and Kelsey Pape, Graham and Allison Walker, Nick and Marion Greco. Thanks for always being there for me, guys, and always encouraging me. I also want to give a big shout out to my main movie guy, Dante and Dominic. Thank you. I hope to have you guys on the show soon. And somebody that you will be hearing from quite often, my other big movie buff guy that I always talk about movies with, Big Mike Alato. Can't wait to have you on the show as well. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. Remember to shoot me an email. Let me know about what type of movies you guys want to talk about. Any specific movie in particular, anything you think I should see, anything that you'd like to see on the show or talk about, or if you'd like to be on the show, go ahead and shoot me an email. That's goatmoviespc@gmail.com, and hope to see you guys soon.